Hello everyone, welcome to Knowledge Shower. I am Kriti Shrivastava. Today we will discuss the chapter of physical education of class 12, that is children and sports. Before I start, do subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon for our latest updates. Apart from that, we also provide classes of all subjects from 8 to 12 and also some specific classes from 9 to 12. These classes is available in both online and offline mode, and for more information you can contact us on WhatsApp number 9868771960. So now the first topic of this chapter is motor development. Motor development refers to the development of a child's bone, muscles and his or her ability to move around and manipulate his or her environment. Motor development is of two types. The first one is gross motor development. It involves the development of large muscles in the child's body, especially while sitting, walking, running, etc. Whereas the second type of motor development is fine motor development. It involves the small muscles of the body, especially during the small movements of fingers and hands. So these are the two types of motor development. So the second topic of this chapter is motor development in children. Motor development in children can be studied effectively under the following three stages of childhood. The first one is early childhood. The period of early childhood starts from third year and continues till 6th year. The motor development during this period takes place rapidly. This stage is also known as preschool years. The second one is middle childhood. The period of middle childhood starts from the 7th year and continues up to the 10th year. During this period, children become active and agile. During this period, children have a desire to compete with children of their own age. The last one is late childhood. The period of late childhood begins from the 11th year and continues up to 12th year or till the beginning of puberty. Strength begin to differ, but the difference are small. Most of the children master most intricate or complex motor skills. The next topic is on the exercise guidelines at different stages of growth and development. The motor development in children takes place in various stages of growth. The infanthood on infancy is followed by the childhood stage, that is divided into three stages: the early, the middle and the later childhood. One is infancy. During this stage of growth and development, physical activities or exercises should be encouraged. Gross motor activities or exercises should be promoted. Exercises to develop head control, sitting, crawling, etc. should be encouraged. Infants should be provided objects, toys and games that encourage them to move and do things for themselves. The second one is early childhood. During this stage of growth and development, such exercises or physical activities should be encouraged, which helps in developing competence in movement skills. During this stage, activities related to fine motor skills, that is coordinated abilities, should be emphasized. The third one is later childhood. During this stage of growth and development, children should indulge in activities such as trance throwing, jumping, catching, running, etc., so that they can acquire body control, strength and coordination. Fourth one is adolescence. During this stage of adolescence, moderate to vigorous intensity exercises, physical activities is recommended for at least 60 minutes. They should also indulge in muscle strengthening activity at least 3 days per week. They should also include bone strengthening exercises. The last one is adulthood. Adults should try to be active always. They should do brisk walking, bike riding, dancing and swimming with moderate intensity. Should also indulge in running, aerobic exercises, weight training, push-ups, sit-ups for muscle strengthening. They should minimize the amount of time spent being sedentary. The next topic is the factors affecting motor development. There are various factors which are liable to affect motor development in children. Some of the factors are stated below. first one is biological factor. Biological factors are related to genes. These factors are also known as hereditary or genetic factors. The genes which we get from our parents are responsible for various types of development, including motor development. The second one is environmental factor. Environmental factors such as physical and social factors are likely to affect the motor development of children. The third one is nutrition. Nutrition is also liable to affect the motor development. Indeed, nutritious food promotes good motor development. Sensory motor development is dependent upon nutrition. The fourth one is physical activity. Taking part in regular physical activity enhances the motor development at faster rate. The last one is opportunities. It is well known fact that children who get ample opportunities to do more and more physical activities or motor activities are likely to have a better motor development. So you can also add some more points from your textbooks to elaborate your answer. So now the next topic is some common postural deformities. The first one is spinal curvature. This deformity is caused by carrying excessive weight beyond one's capacity. There are three types of spinal deformities. The first one is kyphosis. It is a deformity of a spine curvature in which there is an increase of backward curve or decrease of forward curve. The causes of kyphosis is unavailability of pure air, or maybe if an individual is carrying heavy loads on shoulders. The precautions an individual should take suffering from kyphosis is do proper exercises, take a balanced diet, and some corrective measures of kyphosis are: always keep a pillow under your back while sleeping, bend your head backward in standing position, and also perform some yoga asana regularly. So this is about the kyphosis. Now the second one is lordosis. It is the inward curvature of spine. In fact, it is an increased forward curve in the lumbar region. It creates problem in standing and walking. The body seems to be stiff. It can be corrected in the early stage of life. The causes of this deformity is that it may be habitual overeating, or it could be because of the improper environment. The precautions one must take is that an individual should take a balanced diet. An individual should walk straight. The body should be kept straight while carrying weight. Excessive intake of food should be avoided. The corrective measures is that do sit up slowly, perform some yoga asana, lie on your back, and lift feet vertically. The last one is cyclosis. It is a postural deformity of spinal curvature in which there is one large lateral curve extending through the whole length of the spine, or there may be two curves. The causes of this deformity could be short leg of one side or one side flat foot. The precaution one must take should be that one must take a balanced diet. Don't walk, sit or stand in bent position. Avoid walking too long with weight on one hand. Keep the body straight while carrying weights. The corrective measures are: perform some yoga asanas, avoid walking with heavy weight. So students, this was all about the spinal curvature. In the next slide we will learn about the flat foot. It is a deformity of the feet. In this deformity there is no arc in the foot and the foot is completely flat. The individual faces problem in standing, walking, jumping and running. As you can see in the image, the feet of the individual is just flat. There is no arc in between. So this is called a flat foot. Now, in the next slide, let's talk about the causes of flat foot, the precautions one must take, and some corrective measures. The causes of flat foot could be the heaviness of the body, or if an individual is standing for a long time, he or she may can suffer from flat foot, and because of the faulty posture. Now let's talk about some precautions. An individual suffering from flat foot should wear shoes of proper shape and size. High heeled shoes or walking barefoot for long duration should be avoided. Now, some corrective measures. An individual should walk on heels, pick up some marbles with toes, walk on wooden staircase. So this was all about flat foot. Now the next slide is about the knock knees. It is a partial deformity in which both knees touch or overlap each other in the normal standing position. Due to this deformity, an individual usually faces difficulty while walking. As you can see, students, in the picture, this is the picture of knock knees. The causes of knock knees could be weakness of muscles and ligaments. It could be due to overweight or maybe due to lack of balance diet. Now some precautions related to knock knees are: an individual suffering from knock knees should take balanced diet. Do not force the babies to walk at early stage. Some corrective measures are: keep a pillow between your knees whenever possible. Take nutritious meal. The next slide is about bow legs. It is a deformity just the reverse of knock knees position. In fact, if there is a wide gap between the knees, the deformity can be easily observed when an individual walks or runs, as you can see in the image below. The causes of bow legs could be putting extra weight on leg muscles, lack of balanced diet and deficiency of calcium and phosphorus, improper way of walking, focusing babies to walk at very early age. Some precautions which need to be taken care are: balanced diets should be taken. Do not force the babies to walk at early age. Some corrective measures are: never stand for a long time, use vitamin D supplement and proper balanced diet, walk by bending the toes inward or on the inner edge of the feet. Proper massage should be given to the child if this problem is observed early in life. Next slide is about the round shoulders. It is a postural deformity in which shoulders become round as they are drawn forward, the head is extended and the chin points forward. Let's see the causes of round shoulders. It could be poor posture in work, particularly in a desk job, maybe because of the faulty furniture, wrong habit of standing and sitting, or carrying heavy load on shoulders. The precautions should be taken care are: do not sit, walk, or stand in bent position, avoid tight fitting clothes. The corrective measures are: stand in correct posture, keep the fingertips of your shoulders and encircle your elbow in clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. Hold the horizontal bar for some times. So students, here your chapter ends. Give a thorough reading to your textbook and don't forget to solve the previous year question paper. Thank you everyone.